Great. Excellent. So we're going to keep moving right along. Please welcome to introduce our next keynote speaker, Lori Dalton.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Lori Dalton, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to the amazing Marc Gordon. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I say a video is worth 1,000,000. So I'm going to give you 1,000,000 words about Marc in 1 minute.
Like most kids of my generation, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons. But what I liked even better was the commercials. I was fascinated how ordinary products like breakfast cereal or shaving cream could be presented as something that could make life exciting and solve all our problems. Although I didn't know it at the time, this was my first taste of marketing. Looking back now on my 20 years as a business owner, selling everything from really ugly clothing to automotive equipment, marketing was a key factor to my success. Over that time, I discovered that marketing is about more than just advertising. It's about being authentic with the goal of creating genuine experiences that people will want to remember and share. Today, I travel the world speaking to business owners and companies that want to learn how to create experiences that build loyalty, inspire ideas, and start relationships. And while some might say these experiences can be created through tweets and posts, I believe that the more we use social media, the more we appreciate and value real human interaction. And we all know that's where the strongest relationships start. I'm Marc Gordon, the Customer Experience Expert.
PCMA! Woo. Wow, in the spirit of this event, I have to be really short. This presentation is normally 1 hour in length, but today it's going to be 30 minutes. So I want you to know that I've taken all the absolutely crucial elements, all the things you have to know, all the key takeaways, and I've left them out. But we still have time for something special. We still have time to go on a trip. I know a lot of you have traveled a great distance. Are you ready to go on one more trip with me? Yeah? All right. Someone name a city, someplace you've never been. Bahamas. All right, together we are going to go to a place much more exotic than the Bahamas. We are going to go to a place you've never been. A place where you do not know the customs, you do not speak the language, but you know what? We're going to have a good time anyway because we're together, and if it's one thing I've learned, it's that PCMA members know how to have a good time. Yes. So there we are together, walking up and down the streets, checking out the local shops, taking in the local culture, having a fantastic time, but after a while we discover we're getting hungry. We're getting hungry, so we decide to explore the local culinary scene, and we go from one restaurant to another, one shop to another, seeing what we could have for lunch. The problem is, well, what we see doesn't really align with our dietary habits. We're starting to get uncomfortable. We're starting to get nervous. How long can you stare at those pictures for? I think I just shared spit with Adam Creek. That's as close as I'm going to get to being an Olympian. So we are walking around. We're starting to get desperate. Will we ever find anything that we can eat? And we're walking around, and just when we think we've lost all hope, we see something way up top. We stretch our necks to see what it is. What is it? Can somebody shout out what this is? What? McDonald's. You guessed it was McDonald's. This is a presentation about branding. The importance of branding. I showed you half the sign. You guessed it was McDonald's right off the bat. I don't think there's anything more I can tell you. Have a good night. All right, so there we are. We see McDonald's. We are absolutely excited. And for those of you who say, I don't eat at McDonald's, when your alternative is a starfish on a skewer, you're eating at McDonald's. So we all rush over to McDonald's. We pile ourselves in there. We get to the front. We place our order. And what do we order? Of course, we order a Big Mac. We order a Coke. We order a large fries. And for those of you who don't eat McDonald's, you're eating the fries, right? Because everybody eats the fries. And of course, because we are so awesome, we finish it off with that famous chocolate sundae. Because where else can you get artificially sweetened dairy-free ice cream slathered in synthetic chocolate syrup for $1.29? Puts a smile on anybody's face. And when they bring us our order, what does it look like considering we've gone to a McDonald's on the other side of the world? What could they possibly bring us? They bring us exactly what they're supposed to. Give me a hallelujah! Yes, and I guarantee you this is going to be the best meal you've had in a very long time. And you know what? It looks exactly as it should. It smells exactly as it should. It tastes exactly as it should, just as we expected. And guess what? It all started with this. Can someone tell me what this is? A logo. Sorry? The golden arches, yes, which are a logo, as someone pointed out. Yes, yes. So you get, I will give points to the folks up there, the rowdy folks. Yes, all right. All right, it's my presentation, all right? All right? All right, yeah. All right, you get the 11:30 slot, all right? Okay. It's a logo. But what is it really other than the golden arches? Other than a graphic or an illustration? Let me try, let me try to illustrate a little more clearly for you. All the ladies in the house, ideally those who are married, if you lift up your left hand, take a look on your fourth finger, or maybe perhaps some other finger, you have something on there. In its very basic essence, it is a piece of metal that has been forged into a circle. And on that piece of metal is a rock that has been chipped off a much bigger rock that was dug up from the ground. So someone very special, someone who has promised to care for you, love you, support you, be a great spouse, a great parent, take out the garbage and occasionally put down the toilet seat. They have presented you with this. It is a promise. And it's such an important thing that we don't call it a piece of metal with a rock on it, do we? We call it a wedding ring. And it means something. A logo is the corporate equivalent of a wedding ring. It is a promise that each time we see this, whether it be for McDonald's or any other company, many of them here today, we will remember what it represents. See, logos are simply reminders. Logos remind us of what has been promised to us. They remind us of whether that promise was kept, and they remind us about how we feel when we experience whatever it is that we're given. And something very interesting starts to happen. Because over time, our experiences with these companies build. We see more of these logos. And by the way, this is not a brand. This is a brand identity. Logos, business cards, stationery, signage, uniforms, whatever you want to call it, they simply remind us. That's brand identity. The brand is the essence of what these things represent, how they make you feel, that guarantee, that promise. That is a brand. And over time, we see these logos and these designs, and they remind us of our experiences, and it builds a stronger brand, and we start to give it more attention. We start to trust it. I'm sure many of you here, you open your mailbox, and you'll get flyers for restaurants. You get that flyers for pizza places, Chinese food places, all kinds of restaurants. I absolutely guarantee you the ones you notice first are the places you've already been because you have an experience with them. So when companies want to start to market to us, to give us messages, we're listening because we have a relationship with them. Adam. Okay. So I have a date next Saturday night, I think. All right. So over time, what happens is we start to have a relationship with these companies. And then something really cool starts to happen. You see, you are in a fantastic industry in that you have no product to hide behind. Right? You are it. All right? Now, we are all born with whatever our mama gave us. But to identify ourselves, we surround ourselves with brands. We surround ourselves with brands that not only resonate with us, but then we start to have an understanding about how they resonate with others. I'd like you to turn to the person next to you. Show them your watch. Just show them your watch. Just show it to them. Okay, each and every one of you. Oh my God, what are you showing, like a grandfather clock or something? It's a freaking watch. I absolutely guarantee you that each and every one of you has already made a subconscious impression of the person who showed you their watch. Based on that watch, the brand of that watch, you've already decided on a very subconscious level if that person is successful, if that person is intelligent, if that person has style. How many of you will be buying a new watch after this conference? But that's how we work because, you know, we cover ourselves with brands that we believe say something about us because those brands themselves have said something to us personally. What happens next is we start to associate those brands with other people. Jennifer Aniston hasn't aged in 15 years. And we look at her and we say, well, if she's drinking smart water, maybe we should be drinking smart water. Because we start to associate brands with specific individuals. All right? The way we look, the way we dress, they create an image, a brand identity, if you will, of ourselves. All the ladies in the room, when you walk into a conference or into a room, you must know this by now, you are being checked out. Not by the guys so much, and I have to tell you on behalf of all guys, we don't know what we're looking at half the time. We're like dogs with our heads out the window, our tongues are flapping, or we don't know from nothing. You are being checked out by the other women. They are looking at the brand of shoes you have, the brand of purse, your jewelry, your outfit. Why? Because those brands mean something. Whether it's the Jimmy Choo shoes, the Gucci purse, the Versace glasses, what are these things saying about you? All of these things create a subconscious impression. Imagine this, if you will. You go to visit a client. You pull up in front of their building. They see you get out of the car, and that car happens to be a Toyota Corolla. Very, very sensible car. Probably one of the best-selling models in the world today. Very dependable, very economical. You get out of this Toyota Corolla. What would that person be thinking? You're practical, right? You're focused. You're not about the flash. You're about accomplishing the job, getting the job done. You're the real deal, right? Those aren't bad qualities at all. Now, let's say, for example, you pull up, and instead of getting out of a Corolla, well, now you get out of a Tesla. What does that say? You're a leader. You're an innovator. You're about style. You're successful. Are these, you like to show off? Maybe. But aren't you in an industry where, to a degree, it's all about showing off? So, two different vehicles. And here's the thing, right? They both do exactly the same thing. You get in one, it takes you to somewhere else. Here's the thing. The Toyota is extremely dependable. Teslas are notoriously not dependable. But nobody will look at that and say, wow, you drive a really crappy, overpriced electric car. Nobody will ever say that. They're going like, damn, you got a Tesla. I guess you know what you're doing. I guess you must be busy. You must have a lot of well-paying clients. You must be successful. We want to work with successful people. Do you have any Mac users in the house? Yeah, a lot of Mac users. And I'm sure you have a second office as well, also known as Starbucks. Yeah? All right. So you and your MacBook, you go to your second office, right? And you sit down and you open your MacBook, and what do? Because you're a Mac user. You case the joint, right? You're looking around, see who else is using what. And you notice the guy next to you, well, you've got your Mac, but the guy next to you, he's got a Hewlett-Packard. Which one of you are more creative? You are, yeah, the Mac. Which one of you is more of an idea person? Which one of you can create something better? Now, here's what's interesting. Both these computers use the same software. They can do exactly the same thing, and in many cases, can do it equally as well. But your computer has a little tiny logo on it that lights up. The Hewlett-Packard is made of plastic, and there's nothing that lights up on it. And based on that, people have decided that you're more creative simply because you're using a Mac. Because of that little logo. People have associated that logo with creativity. Therefore, people who use it are creative. It's that simple. Hewlett-Packard has been associated with people who work on spreadsheets. Don't hate the player, hate the game. All right? But that's how it is. So you have to decide how it is you want to be. Now, in many cases, the logo, the branding, well, it becomes so impressionable, so embedded in us, that we start to see it in places that it isn't. We start to think about it in times when there's nothing around to make us think about it. We start identifying it in places where it doesn't exist. We just start to see it. I'd like to show each of you, I'd like to show all of you, a picture. I want you to take a look at this picture and just shout out the first thing that comes to mind. All right? Just shout out the first thing that comes to mind. You guys ready? Security? Who said that? Coca-Cola. What is your name? Michelle? Michelle. Have you ever watched a Nature Channel? Maybe read a National Geographic? You know the polar bears eat fish, right? You know that. They don't drink carbonated beverages. And yet, you're looking at a polar bear drinking Pepsi, and you're thinking Coke. Would you guys agree with her? Let's hear it, yeah? Well, you'd be absolutely right. And Michelle, because you stuck your neck out there here, I got something for you. There you go. I stole that from my hotel room. It's a Fairmont glass, yeah. It's a All right. So, to stare at something that is not there, that doesn't even exist, that is not real, and to think about a specific brand outside of that, that's pretty impactful. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody could hear another event planner's name and think of you? That would be pretty awesome. It can happen. And today, I'm going to share with you some techniques to start getting you down that road. Are you guys okay with that? All right. So the first one is to know your story and embrace your story. I've actually been working with event planners for a number of years now. You guys are awesome. When I got invited to speak here, I didn't even give it a thought. I was like, yeah, let's do it. To be in front of you guys is an honor and a privilege because you guys truly are professionals. And it amazes me how many event planners are shy about that. They're almost humble. And I'm saying that there's greatness inside you because of what you do, the very essence of what you do. You're in a profession where creativity rules. And I know that each and every one of you has a story that brought you here today. If you look around the room, you're sitting with people from across the country here today. And I'm pretty sure that if I were to ask the 8-year-old version of you what you wanted to be when you grew up, I'm willing to bet almost none of you would say an event planner. I'm willing to bet most of you didn't even know this profession existed. And yet here you are. And your journey that brought you here is a story. And one thing really powerful about stories is when you share a story, the person who listens to it starts to take ownership of it. That storyline, they start to put themselves into it. The characters, they start to see themselves in those characters. And a story is a great way for you to talk about how awesome you are without actually having to say how awesome you are, because you can let someone else say it for you through the story. And now some of you might be saying, well, I don't want to tell a story about myself. Well, that's okay. You can tell a story that makes the customer the hero.
Chance was actually hit by a car and was left on the side of the road for dead. San Antonio Pets Alive, they saved him right before he was going to be euthanized. They gave him a chance. So then that's where they came up with the name Chance.
My husband's like, we have to get him because nobody's gonna love him like we're gonna love him.
I deal with the same struggles that he deals with. Man, he's like my best friend. We do everything together. When he's in a chair and we're running together down the street, he feels free. You know, it's easy for us to relate. Initially, with him being in a wheelchair, I just thought that was kind of the coolest thing that they offer that for animals. I knew his struggles as well as mine, and I knew that we could overcome those obstacles together. Chance is extremely active. He can't jump like all the other dogs, but I don't hold him back. I mean, he'll still try to jump on the couch. He'll leap off the back porch into the grass.
Michael always looks on the brighter side of everything. Chance is absolutely the same way. He follows him in whatever he does.
The difference Chance makes in my life is the happiness and the courage to know that there isn't anything that anybody can't do.
So nice to come home and he's running at you at the door. He's going so fast, his butt sliding into the wall. A dog that doesn't let anything get him down, it makes you appreciate life.
He kind of takes after me, I guess. He just knows that we have no restrictions and there isn't anything that we can't do.
That was a story about a piece of paper you blow your nose into. You know that, right? Right? If they can create something that brought tears to your eyes about a piece of paper you blow your nose into, imagine what you can do in a profession where you get paid to bring happiness to people, where you get paid to empower people, to create an environment of learning and inspiration. I think all of you guys could come up with much better stories. And once you do that, I want you to live by that story. Anyone here know who Lawrence Turode is? Lawrence Turode was born in Chicago in 1952. Every single person here knows Lawrence Turode, but you probably know him better by the brand that he created for himself. Mr. T. I pity the fool who doesn't know who he is. Mr. T is always Mr. T. Mr. T doesn't take a day off. It doesn't matter whether he's on the A team, whether he's fighting Rocky. It doesn't matter. He's always Mr. T. Whether it's 7 o'clock in the morning and he's at Walmart in his pajamas, it doesn't matter whether he's out speaking to kids. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He's always Mr. T. There is no day off. Remember when you were a kid and you'd be walking through Sears with your parents and you see your teacher there on a weekend and it kind of freaks you out? Who the hell are you? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at school. Right? Because you believed that teachers only existed in school, that they had that time off. They had another identity. I got news for you. You guys are not like teachers. You guys are like Mr. T. You don't get a day off. You are who you are. The very essence of your profession dictates that you are on all the time. And you know it. Think about how many people here have been invited to a wedding. Just for example, I know you guys don't do weddings. If you're into a wedding and you're looking around going, the lighting just sucks. Right? They call this a salad? Really? You're on all the time. And I want you to embrace that. Because if you're not on all the time, I guarantee you your competitors will be, and I promise you this, your clients are on all the time. All right? They're always looking for ideas. They're always looking for inspiration. They're on deadlines. And if you get that call on a Friday night and you say, sorry, can't do it, or I'm not, I'm kind of out of the office, no, you got to always be on. All right? You got to live that story all the time. And then finally, you brand your story. All right? You create something like a visual that allows people to recognize that. Your golden arches. Because when they see that over and over and over, they'll start to think of you. Ladies in the room, that special someone in your life, they come home and they say, honey, I've bought you a piece of metal with a rock on it. And they present it to you in this beautiful paper bag. Who's excited? Let's hear it for the paper bag. Woo, woo, woo. One clap? You clap? Can I meet your boyfriend or how? Wow, he's got it easy. All right, so you guys aren't loving the paper bag. All right, let's assume that your special someone comes home and says, honey, I bought you a rock attached to a piece of metal, and instead of a paper bag, now they're going to give it to you in this. More excited? A box that has officially been declared as robin's egg blue. But I haven't told you what's in either one. You've decided that what's in the box is going to be better than what's in the paper bag. The box is in the bag. Should I be surprised you're sitting in this section here? Really? Did you guys arrange this ahead of time? Did they rope off this section for you? That box goes back 175 years. Sorry? I wanted the earlier time slot, and Adam's bigger than I am, and he picked me up. Yeah. Thank you, Adam. For 175 years, this box has been identified as having something special, something custom, something unique. In fact, this box is so special, if you go to Tiffany's and ask for this box, they will not give it to you. They will not allow this box to leave the store unless there is something of theirs in it, because they understand the power that a brand can have. Everything you do, everything people see, from the way you dress, the way you look, your business cards, your logo, your website, everything is reinforcing that message. Continuity is important. I get so many clients who come to me, and they don't know everything's a mess all over the place, and they don't understand why nobody recognizes them. They don't understand why they get a business card, and it doesn't look anything like their trucks, and it doesn't look anything like their website, and it's a big mess, and they wonder, why doesn't anyone know me? Well, no one knows you because you don't even know yourself. It's up to you to create something special, something that visually communicates who you are. So after that special someone gives you that robin's egg blue box, well, if he really loves you, he'll take you to New York City where you can have lunch at the Tiffany's Cafe. Everything is in robin's egg blue. How do you think the food is? Probably pretty darn good and pretty darn expensive. Yeah, you'd be absolutely right. But it'd be worth the wait because it's 6-month reservations to get in there. But they're keeping with that brand. Everything is absolutely impeccable. And when you finally get in there, whatever it is you order, you know will be good. And for dessert, you can order, yes, the Tiffany layer cake. Is it good? Of course it's going to be good. Because everything that Tiffany does, everything that has that blue, you know what it represents. It represents greatness. And I believe that the P in PCMA, it means something. It means professional. Because I see greatness when I look at each and every one of you, and I can say that not as a speaker, but as someone who has worked directly with so many event planners over the years. You guys are the epitome of professionalism. You guys are able to take resources that people don't even know exist and pull them together to create something unique, something special, something that creates a memory that people take with them. You are in the experience business. You are not simply selling products or services. You are selling experiences, much like Tiffany's. And I want each and every one of you to understand the influence you can have on your marketplace and on your clients. Because it is possible, very possible, that if you do things right, if you think about that plan, that strategy, when people hear about another event planner, they can think of you. When people go to an event, they'll think of you. And when people want to plan an event, they'll think of you. And we know that can happen. We know that can happen because, as you all so elegantly stated, polar bears only drink Coke. Thank you.